Well, hello and welcome to Monday's edition of Movie News here at MBE. I'm joined, as ever, with John C. Walsh, and we had a
Not John
busy...
C. Riley. Sadly.
Maybe not this time, but...
John C. Walsh.
John, it was a busy weekend. We all hope you had a lovely weekend, and we hope you spent some time watching the DC Fandome convention online. We certainly did.
Screwed.
We watched a lot of the panels. We watched a lot of the trailers as well. We did the trailer reactions yesterday. We'd just like to thank everyone who tuned in to our reactions. Thanks to our subscribers and our new subscribers as well on YouTube and Twitch. Now, John, what we're going to do today is, after trolling the internet all day, I've decided that there's no news apart from DC stuff. So I thought, let's just break down what we've already saw. So we're going to do it in sections. We're going to do the Batman first. We'll move on to Zack Snyder's Justice League. Wonder Woman 1984. The Suicide Squad, which I know tickled your fancy. And, of course, Black Adam, which is more of a presentation rather than a trailer. But we'll start with the Batman, John. And we're not going to really have any sort of regimented structure to this. It's really just getting your thoughts, your feelings. We'll talk about some of the shots as well.
Chewing the fat.
Yes, that's the word. That's the phrase. And we'll talk about some of the images as well. We'll bring them up. We'll refer to who these sources come from as well, just to keep ourselves right.
Yes.
So I'm going to start with a very simple question to you, John. The Batman trailer, was it everything you expected?
Yes, it was, Stephen. Absolutely loved the trailer. The tone of it, the feel of it, the interesting little insight into the villains, the likes of the Riddler. Brief shot of a very different looking Colin Farrell as Penguin. I'm sure we've seen Falcone as well outside the building leading a sort of entourage. I'm pretty sure that was Carmine Falcone. We've seen them all. We've seen Jeffrey Wright's Commissioner Gordon as well. We've seen a sort of flung in a little Heath Ledger Commissioner. Terrible, but I flung it in nonetheless. We also seen apparently the ex-commissioner, who was played by Trevor something.
Alex Ferns,
Trevor from EastEnders. Scottish. He grew up in, where was it he grew up? Just along the road.
Yeah.
Apparently. Lennoxtown.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there was a whole lot going on in this trailer. For a 2-minute and 24-second long trailer, a teaser, 25% of the movie shot, Stephen. For him to give that much away, it was spectacular. John, Robert Pattinson as well.
Before we obviously talk about who featured in this, that's interesting you actually say that 25% of this movie has only been shot. We actually said last week, I think we might have quoted somewhere where it had still 3 months or something of filming to go, and we were pretty shocked it still had that much to go, but that's about right then. You know, it's probably right. You know, I think they're going to be working right up to the end of the year to get this out on schedule. But John, Robert Pattinson, you just mentioned them there. That suit as well.
Very impressive suit, Stephen. Look, people were shitting all over the top of Robert Pattinson's suit, not Patterson. When it get initially revealed in that nifty little teaser, red background, just him standing broodingly.
Yep.
From the get-go, I really enjoyed it. I liked the concept of the two guns being sort of recycled or upcycled for the bat symbol on the chest plate. I love that, the story of vengeance within this character, heavy hitting throughout the trailer.
Yeah.
Vengeance, I'm vengeance. He's obviously out seeking to sort of fight for his parents. I'd presume it'd be the loss of Thomas and Martha Wayne, is it? Yeah. Martha, yeah. Martha, my dear. And just obviously that being a visual sort of stimuli for him in his chest, this gun that perhaps took down his parents. That was in I think a comic book. It may have been Kevin Smith that spoke about it. That's where they gained the inspiration. I love the suit. I love the jagged edges. It's very concept-like. And there was a rumour that there will be 2 different bat suits in this. This will be in the first half of the movie. There will be a big event in a chapel or a church. And that's going to change things irrevocably for the character. And he will change the suit thereafter to a more refined suit. I hope he doesn't though. I really like it. I like the bat cowl. It's leather. I like the cape. I like the chest sort of plate. I love the shoulder plates. I like it. It's nice. It's a good
It
design.
wouldn't be
It's
the
different.
first time that they've did that halfway through a film where he changed his suit for convenience and obviously adaptability as well. I think it was the Dark Knight it happened in, wasn't it? I think it was after the dogs attacked him and he did something a bit, and I think as well to turn his head round.
That's right, yeah, it was.
I like the boots as well, John. You get a very good close-up of the boots.
Yeah.
They look very organic. They don't look like they're... They don't look like they're standard issue, but there's something very homemade about them, if that makes any sense. It doesn't look like a billionaire has invested a lot in the suit.
No.
I'm not saying I could afford this suit or make this suit, but it doesn't look like your traditional Batman suit.
Probably premium Italian leather cowl that he has on. But yeah, man, look, I really enjoyed it. I loved Robert Pattinson in this trailer. The first shot we see of him, I think he's standing maybe in a room or something. And then we see him being overwhelmed by sort of cops by the looks of it in a cell. And then it obviously pops up with the hoodlums and whatnot. But we've got a whole array of images here, Stephen. I don't know if you want to crack into
I think the first one
these.
we actually see is the Riddler.
Yeah, the Riddler.
The Riddler, not the Riddler. Paul Dano, slurring my words. I'm not even drinking. Trust me, it's water, it's not vodka. But Paul Dano, John, it's his, I take it it's his narration we're actually hearing at the start of this.
Yes. Apparently it's not the Riddler. That's what I get told.
Well, someone said in the comments the duct tape was nothing to do with him either. So
Strange.
It's strange. But
Stranger.
not traditional bowler hat and cane and looking very campy with the sort of
leotard
the eyewear, you know. No, definitely not. You know, not a light up jacket that Jim Carrey had either, that he uses when he's jogging at night. What's your initial thoughts on Paul Dano though as the Riddler, John? I know it's very hard because it is a teaser trailer, but first impressions.
Stephen, I love Paul Dano. I think he's an absolutely stupendous actor. I've seen him in so many different movies. He's like a chameleon. He can form himself to just about any role. He's a really, really talented guy. I was really excited when I heard that they'd cast him as a Riddler because I could immediately see him portraying this slightly eccentric, borderline insane character who's just a step ahead of the curve, and he likes to toy with his victims and whatnot. And you see that in this trailer. He's posing a riddle to the audience and to the Batman himself.
But it's different, isn't it? It's not like the traditional sort of playing games. Someone actually mentioned in the comments, John, and I did get that feel at the time when we did the trailer reaction, was it had a 7 feel to it. Yeah. Very sinister. You know, and
John Malkovich, wasn't it? No, Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey, yeah. Zodiac as well, it reeks of, I think, you know, in terms of tone. And
someone said The Crow as well.
The Crow. Yeah, I think so. I think for Robert Pattinson's makeup at the end, that did remind me a bit of The Crow, but it seems to be a different sort of angle we're going with for this Riddler character than we've seen before on film, isn't it?
Stephen, yeah, and you mentioned the makeup. Robert Pattinson looks really pale-wally, is what we say over here. He looks quite pale. He's a man who's not seen a lot of sunlight. He looks like a goth. I'm going to straight out come out and say it.
He looks Scottish.
He does look Scottish. He looks like us when we go abroad. We feel that we've got a good colour. Then we go on holiday and we discover that we are whiter than Casper.
It takes us a fortnight to get white,
Yeah, it takes us
start off pale blue.
Yeah, pale blue. Stephen, we're dead, essentially. We are dead over here. It's that cold. It's that just doom and glooming, cloudy all the time. Yeah, he looked like a goth, but Stephen, without getting off on a tangent about Robert Pattinson and Bruce again, he looks, but I'm going anyway, he looks like a totally different take on Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
He's got the long hair, the floppy hair. I know that Christian Bale had the long hair, but it was slicked back 9 times out of 10. His hair's down. He looks like a borderline Johnny Depp, Tim Burton character. And he looks dark and vengeful, and there's issues going on within. And I like that. I like to see Bruce Wayne like that.
There's something else, John, I'd like to get your thoughts on in regards to how exposed is this character been to Gotham at this stage, at this point in the film? Batman, is he a new thing? Or, you know, like Ben Affleck's, everyone knew who Batman was. Yeah. Obviously, we didn't get to see his past life, but it was well told, you know, obviously within the film. Yeah. Batman v Superman. How much do you think we're into this character in Gotham real time, I feel like? And not just him, but also the likes of Catwoman, the Riddler, the Penguin.
Yeah, Penguin.
Do you think this is all like origins. I don't mean like grassroots.
No.
Like we're.
It's hard to speculate, Stephen, but I think that we are a reasonable amount into the Penguins' tenure in Gotham. I think the Riddler's probably been hanging around in the shadows, and also Falcone and whatnot. They'll be firmly established, as they always are in these stories. I feel that Bruce is just coming back to Gotham. That's the vibes I'm getting. He looks as though... I mean, I say that, but he seems to have a connection with Commissioner Gordon already. And he's firmly involved with the police. He's standing next to the police. He's speaking to them. They're asking him, why is he coming after you? And think, unless that's maybe that may have been Andy Serkis's Alfred character. I may be wrong there. But I just get the feeling that he's not sort of been Batman in Gotham very long. And this, I think, the whole story of vengeance is him coming back into the city, re-immersing himself and taking down all the people who are perhaps responsible for his current predicament. He's obviously an orphan. Maybe it's the Penguin in this story who's indirectly involved in the killing of the Waynes. Maybe it's Falcone. Maybe I don't know. We're speculating heavily.
I laugh when you say the killing of the Waynes because
the Waynes.
Obviously it's a Scottish thing for children, and it sounds terrible.
I tell you what, Stephen, if the Waynes round here continue on in their current trajectory, then they are going to be meeting death. Believe me.
Now, John, I'm going to scroll down a little bit from this article down to glimpses of Selina Kyle. I missed it. I've got to be honest.
No,
with you. I didn't realise that was her. It's a great shot as well. Looks like she's breaking into a safe or something like that. I don't know. It actually looks like she's putting painter's caulk around something. That's one of those guns, isn't it? But I missed it. I think it was you actually made some reference to it at the very end of the trailer, and I said I don't even remember seeing her. But there was so much going on in the trailer as well, to be fair, wasn't there?
Yeah, Stephen, I've seen her mucking around with what looks like a safe or something like that in the trailer. Then I get a really brief glimpse of her cow. Sort of cat cow. And then she's fighting with Bruce after it as well. They're having a sort of tango. She's acrobatic.
Did you notice both of them had a standoffish moment though?
Yeah.
This was after I watched it for a second time. They had this moment where they met. It looked like for the first time to me.
Stephen, it could be. I love the sort of the complexity in the relationship between those two characters. There's something unique about it. We've seen it with Selina Kyle and Anne Hathaway and Christian Bale in The Dark Knight. Second half of the Dark Knight trilogy, also, she wasn't in The Dark Knight, wasn't she? She just popped up in Dark Knight Rises. And just start on off. 1 minute she's a villain and antagonist, then she flip flops. She doesn't really know what she is herself. She kind of just does her own thing. And I like that. I like that about the character. I like the acrobatic nature of the character. We've seen that through various different incarnations. I think that Zoe Kravitz is going to be absolutely outstanding. She spoke about the chemistry with Robert Pattinson on the shooting. She's really invested a lot of blood, sweat and tears into the choreography and just the action side of things, the getting into shape. She's put her heart and soul into it, and you can see it already just for a brief glimpse that she looks the part. The suit looks the part. We've seen her on a motorbike, a double on a motorbike here in Glasgow when they were shooting it.
Yeah.
Clearly they're going to have some moments together because obviously Batman was another character on a motorbike or a motorcycle for the Americans out there who are perhaps tuning in at some point.
Struggling with their accents, yeah.
Struggling with their accents. We got a comment again. Whatever. The two of them are together. So I think there's complexity there. And I liked the little glimpses into the character. I really enjoyed it. Acrobatic. She's up to the nefarious things as usual, trying to steal and... Yeah, very, very interesting. Very interesting indeed.
I'm just going to... Yeah, it was brief, John, but most of it was, I think the most prominent sort of character in this obviously was Batman. But also, Jeffrey Wright's Jim Gordon was in at the very beginning of the trailer, looking very cool, looking the part as well. He had some narration as well, John, in this trailer, I believe. A lot of people are speculating that it's probably misdirection from Matt Reeves in regards to some of the narration was more directed at ourselves, the audience, but it actually has more to obviously reveal in the film that he's actually talking to certain characters. Well, that normally happens anyway in trailers, so it's not going to come as a big surprise, but it's very cleverly done in this trailer. Yeah,
Stephen, it's very rare that a filmmaker will shoot a movie sequentially from start to finish.
Yeah.
They'll shoot out of sync. So they'll shoot maybe scenes from the end of the movie and they'll shoot scenes from the middle, then in the beginning. Or perhaps, as you've seen, and I keep getting back to the Dark Knight trilogy, it's an easy sort of comparison.
Yeah.
First scene that obviously Batman and Joker filmed together, Christian Bale and Heath Ledger, was the interrogation scene. And then the first scene that Michael Caine seen the Joker was the party sequence. So they shoot them out of sequence all the time. And obviously, with 25% of this movie short, they're just going to use whatever dialogue that's intriguing that they can fit in and maybe form a slight narrative for the audience without giving the whole game away early doors in the teaser. And I feel like that's what they've done here with Jeffrey Wright's character. I can't recall exactly what it was he says, but he was referring, wasn't he, something, he made some comment and it was sort of framed in a way whereby it was pointed at Bruce. But I don't think it was. I think it could be to anybody, really. Yeah. Really anybody in this movie. But I'd like to let the short little insight into Jeffrey Wright's character. Again, a guy who looks as though he's really passionate about the role. He's been reading the Golden Era sort of version of the character, the comics, old school. And he's getting right into it, man. He's putting his heart and soul into it again. I love the Jim Gordon character, and I'm really intrigued to see a distinctly different take on it with Matt Reeves' version and just what Jeffrey Wright's going to bring. I didn't notice if he had a moustache. Did he shave the beard off?
I think it was a moustache sort of beard. It wasn't like a big like the beard that Alex Fern had. Yeah. It wasn't like that, but you could see some growth there. But blink and you'll miss it moment, John. Colin Farrell's Oswald Cobblepot, the Penguin. And now I did see, I think it was in a car or something like that, I can't remember. And I kind of looked and thought, that's not him, is it? Or is that Falcone? I couldn't really make up my mind at the time, but it has been confirmed that it is Colin Farrell under, I'm assuming, prosthetics.
Yeah.
And he's not put that much weight on. I know that he put some weight on, John. You've showed me some of the
I've seen him
the photographs
sort of
coming out of
Starbucks.
Yeah, fast food places and stuff like that to pile the pounds on. But again, I mean, when he was cast, I could not see him in this role.
No.
But at the same time, now I've seen him in the prosthetics, I'm like, why are they getting Colin Farrell to play it? Obviously, he's a great actor, but they could have got anyone for this, couldn't have?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose they could. But if he's available, he's a very good actor, Stephen. He does everything. We've seen him play, what was he, the coach in The Gentleman? From, when was that out? Late last year, early this year?
Yep.
The Guy Ritchie movie, he was really, really good in that. And we've seen him play just about everything. Colin Farrell, he's really good in the likes of In Bruges and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we know he's got that sort of darkness within him, and he's got the ability to give us some humour as well, which this character we've seen in Gotham has in spades. So it'll be, and I can't recall the DeVito one, it's been that long since I've watched it really, but I'm sure he had some dark humorous moments as well, just that's innate with this character. So we've not seen a lot of it, but very intriguing to see him heavily under prosthetics. Doesn't look anything like Colin Farrell, as you did say. Terrible hairline, but he's got the sort of distinctive and hooked nose, and he's looking very vengeful in that shot, Stephen. He looks an angry man out for blood, paying for it.
Yeah,
some would say.
And just before we wrap up this trailer, sort of collective thoughts, John. That sort of group shot of these thugs in the makeup, almost Joker-esque. Now, there's not been any conversations or confirmations, I should say, about the Joker appearing in this film, but it's very Joker-esque, the makeup. Now, they
I reckon Penguin.
They ask, I think it'll probably be his sort of henchman. They do ask Batman who he is. I did think he was going to do that classic line, "I am Batman."
Oh God,
I'm glad he didn't. I'm glad, but then again, he might actually that might be a misdirection as well. That might have been part of a speech. I am vengeance. I'm Batman. You know, who knows?
Yeah.
But what was your take on this? Because this is obviously the beating scene. Now it's not confirmed whether or not this Dark Knight kills. It looks like he's very ruthless, but do you think they'll go that? Do you think they'll cross that line in this adaptation of the character?
I sincerely hope we do, Stephen. Again, Golden Era. I recall reading, I may be wrong, that there was no kill policy with the character back then. He just did what was necessary to sort of keep peace on the streets and make Gotham a good place. He wouldn't take a life if it was absolutely necessary. Again, I've not actually read it. I've just basing it off second-hand information. But Matt Reeves, we know, he posted the sort of first ever edition of Batman when it was confirmed he was directing it on Instagram. He's really attracted to the detective side of the character,
John,
getting right back to the roots.
Yep.
And you see it in this man, he's vengeful as hell, he's dark, he's brooding, he looks like a extremely angsty sort of Bruce Wayne. He beat 7 shades of shit out of this guy, and he thoroughly deserves it. He's a little whiny, baldy bitch. So that's what I'm going to call him. I can say it because I'm getting no hair either. I'm off getting more than him. Perhaps. But look, I digress, man. I'm going off on tangents. I really enjoyed this scene. This was a standout moment in the trailer. That and hearing Andy Serkis speak. Love Andy. Can't wait to see his Alfred. Loved the beatdown he gave him, and just the I'm vengeance. As you says, they could have went for the just bored, sort of tired line of I'm Batman.
Yeah.
Hey, freeze, I'm Batman. It would have been terrible.
Never leave a Batcave without it.
And Stephen, I do recall. Yeah, God, the credit card. Bat nipples.
Why
Bat
does
butter.
Bruce Wayne need a credit card?
I know, he's a billionaire. He could literally just walk in with a face, like his, and say, I want this, I want that.
Hey, freeze.
Well, good for it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But Stephen, I do recall, before I let you back in,
No, you're fine.
production behind the scenes in London, there was shots of these guys sort of mugging somebody out running. I don't know if it was Bruce Wayne or someone else. If it was Bruce Wayne and then he gets a hold of them as Batman later on, then that may explain why he's saying I'm vengeance and kicks the shit out of them, because he looks scared,
sense.
man.
Now, John, just as we wrap this up, this will be my final sort of thoughts on this before we move on to Zack Snyder's Justice League. A teaser trailer. It lasted over 2 minutes. Do you think they showed too much? Enough? Not enough?
No.
Just the right amount?
No, it was like the Avengers again, Stephen. They only showed the stuff that happened in the first 15 minutes or something of the movie. I don't think he's given a lot away. He knows what he's doing, Matt Reeves. He knows not to give away the whole story. It's extremely important when you're dealing with this movie. It being a sort of new foray into this character, into a trilogy of movies. We've just got the balance right. They've gave us away just enough without giving the entire plot away, man. I'm confident of it. And look, even though it was 2 minutes and 24 seconds long,
yeah,
it was just briefly touching on things, giving us little glimpses and then pulling back out. It was almost like The Rise of Skywalker as a movie. You get 5 minutes and then off to somewhere else, and then off to somewhere else.
That's a perfect description, John. But I think it was enough. I enjoyed it. It's really making me look forward to this movie even more now. I thought we might have got maybe about half a minute to 45 seconds of a teaser. I didn't think they'd had enough.
No.
When people were talking about only shooting 25% of it, it's going to be too much condensed in the one sort of area of the film, and there'll not be enough to spread out. But it seemed to just work and flow perfectly. And
a shot of Glasgow.
Yeah, a shot of Glasgow as well.
The necropolis.
That's right. Yeah.
Fantastic.
But we're going to move on, John, because I'll tell you something. I can't wait for the full trailer now. when it finally comes out, when they finally get to shoot the rest of the movie.
We get to compare the sets and the open world, sort of different locations.
Well, that's a good point as well. But we'll move on, John, to Zack Snyder's Justice League trailer. This is a bit tougher because we both admitted yesterday that we've only watched the Josh Whedon version. What is it they call that? The Justice League, they call that one, wasn't it?
I call it a Frankenstein's monster.
Or a big pile of you-know-what.
Pile of shit.
We both only saw that once back in 2017 in the cinema, John. Very let down by it.
Yeah.
When we watched this trailer reaction, or when we watched the trailer and we did the reaction yesterday, I did find myself, is this new? I don't know how much of it was new, because it was just sort of, it was almost like the Mandela effect with me, that I was convinced myself that I'd seen bits of this before, but
there was definitely some new stuff in there, for sure.
The cape scene, I've seen that, the sort of holographic, that's in the film, isn't it? When Bruce Wayne's looking at the holograph of Superman, I'm sure that's in. I've seen that. But we'll not get into...
Darkseid's not in it, though.
Well, that's the first thing we want to talk about, John.
Very first shot.
It's it's his debut. And again, the visuals for this, I think that's what we should talk about first about this, because I noticed that sort of opening shot, it was giving you the landscape of the sort of ruined area.
That may be the very last shot of the movie, Stephen, because there was rumours.
How good did it look?
It looked okay, it looked pretty damn good. Reminiscent of Thanos. Difficult to tell where we actually are, and obviously production, post-production, it's all post-production really, where we are with the CG and whatnot, but that may be the very last shot of the movie, because Zack Snyder actually says that in his version, they decapitate Steppenwolf, and I think his head goes through one of these wormholes to land at the feet of Darkseid, and he kind of
Fit.
the fit, yeah, and he kind of he looks very angry at the end of the movie, and that sets up a sort of conflict with Darkseid as the big bad in a trilogy of Justice League movies. That could be the last shot of the movie, Stephen, and it looks.
Now, I am to
okay.
believe Darkseid did not appear in the Whedon version at all.
No. Absolutely disgraceful.
It's crazy. You know,
shows you how far detached the Warner Brother execs were, and how far detached they were from the Zack Snyder vision of the Justice League. That's why it failed.
Yeah.
Even you like him or hate him, the man had a clear vision for these movies, and you have to follow that vision through. And then if he sorts out his personal issues, obviously his daughter passing away and whatnot, and he's able to come back, then you have a template. You make it easier for him to maybe hone it into his own vision later on. Now you've just made his life impossible, and well, nearly. As we've seen from this trailer, he seems to have accomplished the impossible, seemingly, with the amount of things that he's changed.
I think as well, John, that one of the things that I'm looking forward to the most is obviously Cyborg's contribution in this film as well. His relationship with, I believe it's his father, played by Joe Morton. I think it is. I may be wrong. And obviously his connection to the mother boxes as well, his connection to Steppenwolf, isn't it? Because you can see in the redesign of Steppenwolf, the technology is there, you know, and his armour, just the sheer look of him as well. So
that is his father.
That connection, John, that just talking about Joe Morton in that scene as well, that was a bit of a spoiler, was it not?
I think the whole thing is a spoiler though, Stephen, but I mean, in a sense, we kind of, people who should know will know all about this, and people who don't, perhaps, I presume watching the movie it will have gave something away. I mean, it's been that long since I've seen it, as I did say, but they did, maybe not, they kind of just shafted Cyborg in the whole movie. He was just a minor player.
We did not get enough of him.
No, he was a minor player.
And he's such an interesting character, you know, but again, when you're excluding villains like Darkseid from the entire movie, you get where they were going with that direction, John. But
it was just focused on Steppenwolf.
We also get shots of Diana. She's I think she's visiting a temple or something like that.
Yeah, the Amazon temple.
The Amazon temple. Yeah, you're also getting the classic Aquaman shot. You know, getting shirtless, bottle of Jack Daniels in one hand. And then you get glimpses of Victor's his career in football, American football as we call it. So there's little shots like that. Barry Allen was probably the best shot, the one in the street with
that was superb.
The girl. I thought that was superb, John, the way that was shot. Again, you mentioned that funny run, that kind of way he kind of darts.
Later on in the trailer, he's got that ridiculous sort of flailing arms. There's a footballer that plays here, Stephen James Forrest. He's got a very similar running stance.
Like Iron Man, you know, try to land.
Like running like that.
And finally, John, we get to see Superman's black suit. Now, it's probably on 2 seconds or something like that we get to see.
He's done some job, Stephen. I mean, he's not actually...
Considering that's not an actual suit.
Yeah, no, it's not a black suit. He's recoloured it. And he's worked absolute magic because it looks as though it is a black suit. I don't know how he's accomplished that. Really, really cool. Stephen, I'll go back to Victor very briefly because, I mean... Zack Snyder says in the panel, he's the heart and soul of this, his version of the movie.
Yeah.
And you can really see that from this trailer. He's front and centre. His father passes away in front of him. He sacrifices himself in this mother box by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Or to the mother box. And you see that his playing career, they're delving into what this guy was before he became Cyborg. And he's going to be front and centre, the heart and soul. I don't know how they will accomplish this. Maybe they had... just tons and tons of deleted scenes that they just left in the cutting room floor.
Yeah. But I also think they were setting up a standalone film for him as well at that point, John.
Yeah, well, that'd be very cool.
Yeah.
Because he was probably the only one out
whether
with
or not
Flash.
that happened now, I don't know.
I hope we do. Whether they do go ahead with it, with the whole sort of going after Josh Whedon thing. Well, if Josh Whedon was in the wrong, then it shouldn't have any bearing at all on his ability to come back and play the character. And certainly if Zack Snyder is back in any way whatsoever and he can work harmoniously with a J.J. Abrams behind the scenes of Warner Brothers working on DC related stuff, then I'm sure he will absolutely get this guy back. He seems to really have a relationship with him. The actor himself has a good relationship with Zack, and him making him front and centre of his version of the movie, I think that speaks volumes on what he thinks of that guy's acting ability with all these big figures around about, Ezra Miller, Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot. Speaks volumes on the respect he has for him. So I really enjoyed that sort of change in tone for the Cyborg character more than anything in this trailer.
Yeah.
And also the Superman stuff as well, as you says, the black suit, seeing him hovering above the buildings, sort of changing his
it's also
reanimation.
a bit at the start of the trailer as well, where it looks like he's in a lot of pain. There's a lot of lightning bolts and stuff like that around him. But the other bit, John, as well, the Barry Allen bit, obviously, this has actually been confirmed. It's Iris West, who's now officially in the DCU. I think it's Kiersey Clemens. She was originally cast as Barry Allen's love interest, but her scenes were ultimately cut when Joss Whedon took over reshoots. Now, she's a big part, obviously, the Flash arc. You know, I didn't realise that was her till I read this article. Actually, I've been obviously following the television series, and she is a major part in obviously that. So it kind of shows what was Whedon's thinking, you know, with all these cuts. Was it the studio were determined this was going to be a 2-hour film, and he had to make these sacrifices?
Well, Stephen, I mean, I'm talking about he's worked miracles, but he said himself he's got about 4 or 5 hours worth of footage to work with. It was a 2-hour movie, give or take a few. So they were clearly meddling, interfering all over the place, making cuts for the sake of making cuts, for tonal changes, just to maybe make it a more tauter experience so the audience could perhaps connect. And it's had a complete opposite effect. The audience couldn't connect because it was all over the place. You could clearly see what Zack Snyder had done and what Joss Whedon had done. And it was discombobulated and all over the place, a shambles. And now they're finally righting the wrong by allowing the man to come back and complete his vision. And you can see it, man. He's adding in Iris West. He's adding in more backstory to Cyborg. Flash looks as though he's going to have more to do, other than just be the butt of the jokes, having a laugh about, oh, look at this, I'm just in the middle of all of this with all these big superhero figures. I don't really belong here, I'm a joke. Ha ha ha. Now we're getting to see Ezra Miller flex his acting muscles in this movie. I'm excited. I used to be kind of on the fence for the Zack Snyder cut. Haven't seen this though. I'm excited by what he's accomplishing and what is going to be possible moving forward for this movie. Maybe this could set up a new sort of take on the DCEU, working with Flashpoint and changing some things.
I think how it's received, John, will be the sort of telling of where they go next. But we're going to Smallville next, and it's a shot of Clark in the field. Yeah. Now, this was in the trailer. Now, I don't remember certain angles and certain appearances, because as I recall, I might be wrong, I think only Lois Lane was in that scene, but Martha Kent is with Lois in the homestead, the farm, and both of them obviously are reunited with Henry Cavill's Clark as well. It was a nice shot, but it was obviously it's a different take on what we did see from the theatrical cut.
Stephen, it's also adding emotional levity to that character, because in the Joss Whedon version, he just reanimates, wrecks the living shit out of them all, and then they sort of just get back to it and they take on Steppenwolf. There's not much focusing on him being back. Not that I can recall of. I think he did get back though, didn't he? In the actual movie, I'm sure it did, because as you says, it was in the trailer. I remember seeing that. But they seem to be focusing more on the emotional side of all of these characters. They really do. We see it with Batman, he's overlooking Cyborg when he's digging the grave. So it looks as though it's going to have more heart to it. And that's necessary. You need to connect with these characters if you're going to go on the journey with them. And with them not having the standalone movies, it's so much more important that you sort of delve into it a little bit more. This could have been a 3.5-hour movie, 3-hour movie. But obviously the studio would never have greenlit that. But for it to have been a success, I feel like 3 hours minimum it needed.
Steppenwolf 2.0, John. Well, we're going to move on to next. Sheer look of this character now. Change your mind on him be the choice of the villain for the Justice League, the first ever Justice League cinematic film. The look of him now, I think you'd maybe have to get comparison up to really see what they've done, unless you've got it etched in your mind how bad he looked at in that cinematic.
I'm just trying to is it Kieran Hines who played him? Kieran Hines is a fantastic actor, man. He really is a great actor, and it just ruined that character. To put him in the first shot of the movie as well, there's just no suspense build up of this villainous character's reveal like we had with Thanos over the course of 11 years or something. They slowly drip fed him, then when he stepped on the screen you were like, Jesus Christ, he's here. They gave him away in the first scene of the movie pretty much when he went to Themyscira to try and get the mother box, and it was terrible. Just everything about the character, the CG it was unfinished, the movie, Stephen. This cannot possibly be worse than the movie that was released. At least they'll have time to finish and put a nice extra bit of gloss on the animation and whatnot.
Yeah.
He looks much better. He's got that connection with Cyborg. Cyborg, front and centre of this story. Again, it's going to play into his father, him, Steppenwolf. Everything looks better for the character. Hopefully Kieran Hines has some more meatier scenes as well, because it was such a disappointment. On a par with the Cara Delevingne sort of villain, the Enchantress from Suicide Squad. Terrible villain, man. Terrible.
And John, we'll just round this up with the sort of team meeting, we'll call this one, with obviously Bruce. I can't remember what the line was. It was quite a good line though.
They've not faced... He must have killed thousands of people or something, I think Flash says, or Barry Allen, and he says, but they've not he's not faced us, not all of us together.
Yeah.
Paraphrasing slightly.
I think that
really
was
stirring
roughly
music, great line delivery from Ben Affleck. You expect that from that man. He's just a brilliant actor. And it just, again, it's almost like the moment in Endgame when they're all together and they're going to face Thanos. Bit of a letdown because it's at the start of the movie and it means nothing. But it's still sort of stirring. And it's really cool, man, to see these guys together.
So just kind of round this up, John. You kind of just mentioned it a couple of minutes ago there in regards to your sort of point of view on the Snyder Cut. When it first was announced, there was this petition going on. I think we were both sort of feeling the same way. Just leave it, move on. The DC's moving off in a good area now, a different direction with Joker, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Shazam. They've moved on.
Batman.
They seem to be getting their act together, or as you like to say, their shit together. And we both felt that way, but the last 3-4 months, Zack Snyder's been very vocal on social media. He's been giving us little clues on the vision. He's been giving us little clues on the direction and the tone of the film, how much footage, as you mentioned, actually exists, lots of stuff that wasn't included in the theatrical run. All of these reveals has changed my mind. Has it changed your mind as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as I says, I was on the fence initially. Now I'm well on the Zack Snyder, the Snyder Cut sort of bus. I'm in there, and what seeing the people who were sort of fueling it, the girl from China who started it from the very beginning of this Snyder Cut movement, the guy from America who sort of pushed for it. Man, I'm glad for them as well. They are getting to see this come into fruition, and just seeing the happiness from Zack Snyder, the emotion that he is, get this backing from the fan base. They are so enamoured with what he did with Dawn of Justice probably as well, that they want to see his take on this story again. And look, everything's coming together nicely. I'm really looking forward to seeing it. I just hope they can give us a short little theatrical release or something, because we've not got HBO Max over here.
No.
And it'd feel a little bit, I don't know, of a letdown if it was on Sky.
I would say so.
Sky Atlantic, that'd be terrible.
I think we might get that, John. It depends on obviously the state of the world at that point in its release, but I think it might get some kind of run at the theatres. But we'll move on now. We'll move on to our third trailer. It's Wonder Woman 1984, and we'll do a little breakdown and analysis of this as well. This was one that I was looking forward to. I know you were looking forward to it as well. We were talking about this last month. This trailer and June was the trailers we were looking forward to in August, because we didn't know we were going to get a Batman one at that point, or a Zack Snyder one either. But what was your initial thoughts on this trailer, John? It was everything I expected it to be. Nothing revealed. Steve Trevor, we knew he was coming back. We didn't know how he was coming back, and we still don't know how he's coming back unless you've read that kid's novel.
Smithsonian.
So
she goes to the museum and sort of reanimates him or brings him back via this stone or something. It's in a kid's novel. Whether that's in the actual movie or not, I don't know. But if she's done that, it kind of makes that scene when he walks back in a little bit strange.
Yeah, she's surprised.
Like, shocked.
Yep.
Look at you've not aged a day. And also he's not aged a day either, because he's the same age as he was in the first movie.
Yep.
Stephen, I really enjoyed the trailer. Obviously Cheetah was the big sort of thing that happened in it. The first real shot of her and what she's capable of. And we see more of Pedro Pascal. I still don't know what this guy is. I know that he's a sort of almost like a daft plagueis emperor. He's
Politician,
yeah, he's in the shadows manipulating things like the master, the supreme chancellor, if you like, of this movie. Whilst Cheetah's sort of the Darth Maul. They sort of parallel it to the Phantom Menace. She's the minor villain, he's the major villain. He's set back, he's a little bit more sly, sleeker. He's the mobster type who won't get his hands dirty. But yeah, man, anything that's got more Pedro Pascal in it, I'm well on board. He's a great actor. I love the guy. He plays the villain really well in this trailer
Maxwell
as well.
Lord John, a character with deep ties to DC Comics lore and a specific one to Diana herself. In the comics, Max was the funder and founder of one of the incarnations of the Justice League, a fabulously rich asshole with his own agenda. Max eventually revealed his true colours as a villain. So
he's in a presidential setting in this trailer though. He's at the White House by the looks of it.
He's strange. A rich dude, so I mean, it's going to but what was your thoughts on Cheetah visuals? I mean, I kind of made a remark. It's certainly an upgrade on Cats. We're not going to see cat buttholes, hopefully.
But it was a bit Cats.
Yeah, it was, but
human face with sort of fur. Bit strange. She's not dancing. She's not singing. She's not teeny like in Cats. Very much fully sized, and she looks impressive the way she's running around. She's got this sort of I don't know, revenge in her. She sort of doesn't like the Diana character for some reason. She sort of, I don't know, resents the fact that she's had all this power and she's been a mere mortal. Now she gets to flip the roles.
Yep.
And she's doing her best to take her down. But as we see, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman character just absolutely destroys her in that scene. Resplendent in the gold. Casts off the wings.
Stunning,
just takes her down.
Yeah.
Takes her down and whips her like a bitch.
We'll just stay on visuals as well, because there was a lot of visuals in this. It was a very colourful trailer. And we got to see, obviously, Wonder Woman connecting with some lightning rods. What was your thoughts on that as well? But overall, John, overall with the visuals, Patty Jenkins did say that she was hell-bent. I'm paraphrasing, she didn't say that, but she wasn't hell-bent on obviously upping the stakes in regards to how this film would be presented visually.
Yeah.
Did you think she's accomplished that so far?
Stephen,
that's an amazing shot. Yeah, I like that. I'll
point you to that shot that I was looking at there. She's swinging off of a lightning bolt. It doesn't get more impressive than that. That's visually incredible. To sort of will that into existence on the cinema, it's going to be amazing to see it on the cinema, on the screen. It's going to be very cool to see her sort of slinging herself off of lightning bolts. Man, it does look very impressive from a visual standpoint. It looks as though it's up the game. Even the shot that I know you weren't a huge fan of.
You're talking about fireworks.
Yeah, the fireworks.
I hated that.
I loved it. Stephen, again, Chris Pine's getting played as a sort of the jokey figure in this.
He's a comic relief,
Yeah, he's a comedy relief. You see that at the end of the trailer. You see it in this point. They'll not catch me, I'm such a great pilot. Oh, I forgot to tell you that the radar. They'll not shoot us, will they? But I know, I mean, I liked that. I liked the humour in that scene, but I understand what you mean. It's sort of slow motion. They're in a jet.
Yeah.
Fireworks going off.
I don't know. It didn't work for me. I think,
visually very good.
It looked very nice, but there was kind of the pacing of the trailer just kind of came to a sudden halt at that point. I was like, that's a weird decision to make. Just my opinion, though.
Yeah. But Stephen, I mean, another aspect I really enjoyed of the trailer was the sort of delving into this man out of time with Steve. We see it time and time again. You're not aged a single day, and then at the end he's out of sync with the fashion. And we've seen it in the previous little trailer as well. He's walking around. Oh, this looks amazing. It's like fine art. He's touching a trash can. That's another aspect that Patty Jenkins spoke about. That he is He's switching and swapping. I've combined the two. He's swapping roles with the Diana character. He's the man out of time now. She was the person, not out of time, but sort of out of sync with what was happening during World War One. She was
out of sync with the world, really.
She was out of sync completely with the world. They've swapped those roles over, and he is now in that sort of Diana role from the first movie. And I really enjoyed that in the trailer, seeing him squirming a little bit and not being his usual cocksure self, because he was a really cocky guy. He was a confident guy in the first movie, and how this is going to impact the acting performances as well is something that I'm really looking forward to. I know that Chris Pine can up his game and do that role, but can Gal Gadot, apparently her name is,
Gal
incidentally.
Gadot,
Not
yeah.
Gal Gadot.
Or
Gal
Gail.
Gadot.
But one of the things, John, that I did like is that it was something
What?
that Captain America kind of stayed away from. When he was the man out of time, they didn't really go for those kind of jokes,
No.
didn't they? Not for Marvel.
No.
Maybe it just wasn't the right tone for his type of films.
Oh, they were doing it across the
it was
sort
more
of
about
movies,
his sort
yeah.
of mannerisms, wasn't it? He was being the sort of 1940s gentleman,
Very chivalrous,
almost
yeah.
like, he didn't like people cursing in front of women, etc. But there wasn't the kind of same jokes that Chris Pine has got in this film, where you're getting them dressed up in that sort of it's a
Jumpsuit.
parachute, wasn't it? And the bum bag.
Is everyone jump shooting these days? Shooting?
Yeah.
Shooters.
So I'll just round it up, John,
We're
for
sliding all
myself.
words left, right, centre here,
Unless
Stephen.
you've got anything else to add. I liked the trailer. It was everything I thought it would be. I thought we got enough Cheetah in there. Pedro Pascal's character as well.
Themyscira as well.
Yeah, that was a good shot, John. It was very brief, but it was kind of reverting back to,
yeah.
obviously, Diana's past life, and obviously her younger self and her part in that sort of world. But I liked it. It was everything I expected. You're right. I think Pedro Pascal's character is going to be really like a puppet master in the background. I think Cheetah's going to be getting played off him.
Like a fool.
Yeah, like a fool. Yep. Done up like a kipper, as they say here. But I'm looking forward to it.
Done up like a cheetah. Stephen, the final thing I would add, again, I can't really add much more. I really enjoyed the trailer as well. The other aspect I really, really enjoyed was the upping of the ante in the action with the Diana character. Her using that whip, she was whirling through the air with it, using it as a sort of shield to ricochet bullets off of.
That was amazing. I loved that shot.
In the first movie,
Yep.
but she's sort of added a skill with the
She's
whip
up
as
to her
well.
game, yeah.
Yeah, she's
She
up the
definitely
game
is.
demonstrably, to use a certain politician's favourite word over here. He's
And
a shithead, that
just to
politician.
round it up, John, that is the final trailer. I can't remember what the actual name of the trailer was called. Was it the final trailer?
It was the official main
Main
trailer.
trailer. So I think after that we're just going to get TV shots.
Yeah.
I think maybe TV spots will be enough at this point anyway by the time this film's released. But we'll move on, John. We're going to talk about the Suicide Squad now. Now, this is an unusual trailer because there's no shots in this at all. It's a total... I think it's called roll call, wasn't it?
Yeah, roll call, yeah.
So it's really just looking at the characters. This was the funniest trailer we saw over the weekend anyway.
Amazing.
When you look at the... I'm just going to... I'm going to rhyme off the actors and the characters are playing, John, and then we'll talk about this sort of style he's going for. And I can't remember what the music was in this trailer, but...
I don't know, we did get a copyright claim
Yeah.
though. Of all the trailers we reacted to
Yeah, I
over
know.
the weekend, we had Nirvana, Something in the Way. We had Hallelujah, which you could just about hear. We try to keep it down.
Yep.
We got a copyright claim for this. I've not even
Yeah.
heard of the song.
No, but Margot Robbie is back as Harley Quinn. We've got Jay Courtney back as Captain Boomerang. Joel Kinnaman is back as Rick Flag.
Yep.
Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. But I think after that, it's all new characters. So we've got John Cena as Peacemaker. We've got Pete Davidson as Blackguard. Michael Rooker as Savant. Sean Gunn as Weasel. Probably the best one of them all, for me anyway. Idris Elba as Bloodsport. Peter Capaldi as the Thinker. We've got David Dismalchian, is it? Malkian as
I don't know.
Polka Dot Man. Daniela Melchior as Ratcatcher 2. 2. Wonder why that is.
What happened to the first one?
Flula Borg as Javelin. We've got Nathan Fillion as TDK, also known as the Detachable Kid. Okay, we've got Mailing Inge as as Mongel, and we've got Alice Braga as Solsoria. Now, John, again, I'm just trying to see actually if we do get what the music was. It doesn't mention it, unfortunately, but I think
just check the copyright claim.
This was a film again I didn't think I needed, and then after I saw that trailer yesterday, I said I need this now. I need it now just because of the sort of style of it I liked, and I've not even seen a single shot. Yes, that sounds mad. I just like the way he's introducing these characters, and I said as well, Polka Dot Man, when we first heard about this character a year and a half ago, I just thought, how are they going to fit this character into, and the one, the shark as well, how are they going to fit this into a believable story and a believable film? this was at a point, it might have been just before Shazam came out.
Yeah.
So the seriousness of DCU was still fresh in our minds at that point, John. So I thought,
Yeah, it was very dark.
I
and gritty.
don't really see how this is going to fit into that world. But a year and a half later, 18 months later, we've moved on from that. We've seen films like Shazam come out. We've seen the sort of
Things have changed
comedy
forever.
of Aquaman in there as well, so on. But yeah, you're right. Things have changed forever. But what was your
Another
take
Joker
on
quote,
this?
I think.
Yeah.
I'm flinging them in here, left, right, centre tonight. Can you tell I'm a fan of Joker?
Yeah.
Stephen, I love this. This was probably my favourite one out of them all, I have to say it, with the Batman. We could just be distinctly different entities. The Batman was a teaser trailer to the movie. This was a roll call.
Yeah.
But everything about it, the visual element, the sort of comic book, the sort of, what do you call it, half, there's a name for it, dotted effect that's on the actual comic books.
Yeah.
It was visually very cool.
Yep.
The way the characters were introduced in their original comic form, and then it was a sort of different version in the movie, a sort of animated version. Then it was the actual actor playing the character as well. Really, instead of, obviously not for Weasel though, in the shark one. It's clearly animated. But I really enjoyed the visual side of it. The music was cool as well, even though we did get a copyright strike for it.
Yeah.
Damn used to hell. Good to see Margot Robbie back as Harley Quinn. She's got a very different suit on. It's the one I recall from the Arkham Asylum games.
Yeah.
I think it's the red and black one. It's synonymous with the character over the test of time with this character. Jay Courtney's back as Captain Boomerang. I liked him in the first movie. Joel Kinnaman's really good as well. Great actor. Liked him in House of Cards. As I says in the reaction video, Rick Flag, he was a good character. He bounced off with Deathshot and Harley Quinn pretty well. Viola Davis, can't say much more about her. But man, I'm not going to go through every single one. John Cena, by the way, I've seen him in behind the scenes shots wearing an incredibly tight polo shirt. And he looked goofy as hell.
Yeah.
He is a funny guy, man. And people do down his acting ability. This guy has been taking the
I think
heat
it's unfair.
for about a decade in the WWE, playing this goody two-shoes, and he just riles people up something awful. He is an underrated actor.
His
Comedy side.
his description of Peacemaker was he's a douchey Captain America. That was just what he said.
And I get that. I've seen the shots behind the scenes, and he looks absolutely ridiculous, but he will pull it off.
Yeah.
I've no doubt about it. Sean Gunn, though, man, as Weasel, I absolutely pissed myself laughing at this,
I can't
Stephen.
believe that.
It's funny as hell. It's not just the fact he's playing a weasel and that it's his brother that's directing it, and it's a clear slap in the face. Oh, you want to be in my movie? Well, you're playing this guy. Not just a weasel, but a weasel with a squint. And he's got the buck teeth like that little guy in Ice Age.
Yeah.
Hilarious looking character.
That's who
I
you
cannot
reminded me
wait
of. Yeah.
to see what that. And I worked with a guy that looked like that. Long shifts.
Yeah.
That's why I left that job. I couldn't hack it, being around this strange sort of beastie figure.
Don't name names now.
I'm not naming names.
No.
He won't watch this. He's not a type of guy who watches these kind of things. He just
He's
stays
down
with
in
his
the sewer.
He stays with his 90-year-old mother. Stephen, Peter Capaldi's a thinker too. Very, very cool looking. He looks like Hellraiser meets a strange sort of weird science.
Doctor Who.
Meets Doctor Who, meets maybe the Doc, the original invention he had
Yeah.
for reading minds in Back to the Future.
Yeah.
He looks cool. David Dastmalchian, a great guy again. He's been in so many comic book movies. He was in The Dark Knight. He played the Schizo.
Yep.
He plays one of the shithead friends of
Scott Lang,
Scott Lang in Ant-Man. And now he's playing Polka Dot Man. He's got such a gangly physique. He's tall as hell. Funny guy. Great actor. I can't wait to see Polka Dot Man. Him outside of Weasel and maybe The Thinker are probably my standout characters. Can't not speak about Michael Rooker as well. Long white hair and sunglasses on again. Looks like the Doc from Back to the Future
James
2.
Gunn's go-to, isn't it, really? When you think about it, you know, he's a reliable actor. He's a very funny guy, and he can play serious as well, as you know, John. But you know, this is for such an unusual trailer. Not getting to see a single shot of the film. It just reeks of James Gunn. I don't know if that makes any sense or not.
No, it does.
It had a certain humour about it, and I'm not just talking about the Weasel character, but there's just this humour about it.
No, it was a swirling in the animations.
Yeah.
You just get a sense of the characters,
And I'll tell you
Steve. They're
something
very
else
colourful.
I like, John. James Gunn could have been tempted to forefront this trailer with Margot Robbie, which would have been the most predictable thing to do.
Yeah.
Headline her as the big act. I think she was somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Like most of the characters.
Starts with Viola Davis.
Yeah, starts with her. You know, so it was just a great trailer.
Great music.
I've got nothing more to add, John.
No.
If we want to move on to our final trailer now, this is a trailer teaser, I suppose. I would say it's more of a presentation more than anything, because most of it is obviously what do you call it?
Concept
art, yeah. So, but some of the visuals are stunning, you know, and you've got Dwayne Johnson narrating, obviously, the sort of origins of Black Adam as well. It's not revealing a lot, but it's revealing what we need to know at this point, isn't it?
Yeah. Stephen, look, he's such a great guy as well. He's got a dead deep and rich voice. So I can't think... Obviously, he's playing the lead actor in the movie as well, the leading role.
Yeah.
So it fits. It's organic that he is actually narrating the trailer. But it was a really cool little teaser. Trailer teaser. You're right, it is a trailer teaser. It's not even a teaser trailer, because we've not got anything shot yet of this movie. But just the visuals, it was very cool concept art. You really get a sense of this character. He's going way back to sort of medieval times, sort of Bronze Age times. And he's this guy who, the people needed a hero, but they got him instead. He's a sort of dark, complicated guy. He's
5,000 years, John.
5,000 years. That's, I don't know what that is. Is that Bronze Age?
It's 5,000 years ago. Is it Kandak was a melting pot of cultures, wealth, power, and magic, narrates Johnson. Yet most of us had nothing except for the chains around our necks. So,
what a start for the character. And again, man out of time. How's that going to be bridged? Bringing him into a modern day era. He's semi-immortal then, I'm presuming. Just because he was the Shazam, wasn't he? He was the champion.
Yeah, that's his suit as well, John.
Turns
Although
dark.
it's a black suit with a gold sort of lightning bolt across it, but it's similar to the Shazam suit.
And you get a sense of the powers as well. He has, Stephen, lots of electricity in there and whatnot. He's a really, really cool guy, as I says, man. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's bringing to the comic book genre.
Yeah.
He's a big, imposing guy. He's working his absolute balls off. He does it anyway. We know he gets up at 5 in the morning and goes for like a 5k run.
Yeah.
But he's getting even bigger, even more jacked for this role. And I cannot wait to see what he brings. He's a funny guy as well. He's going to bring humour to this. Can't wait to see who the villain's going to be. Is it going to be set in the past as a sort of origins and then jump forward? I presume it will. If this is concept art, storyboarding in a sense, what we're getting in this. Start at the beginning, give you the origins of the Black Adam character, and then move forward into the future. It's going to be really cool, man. It's going to be a distinctly different take for a DC movie. We've seen it with Shazam. They can blend light-hearted, funny moments with some dark moments. Mark Strong, I think, played the villain really well. And it works. It just works if you get the casting correct. They nailed it with the young guys. They nailed it with Zachary Levi, Mark Strong. They will nail it again with Dwayne Johnson. He brings his A-game.
I also think they made the right decision not to include Black Adam in that film, John, because of the tone of the film. Was primarily comedy.
He's the main big bad for Shazam as well. So
it's like, you don't want to water his character down to sort of bridge that gap, with the tone. But we don't have to wait long. Black Adam gets released on the 22nd of December 2021, and this film's directed by, is it Jaume Colette Serra? Is that how you say that? Well, it is now. So I've got nothing more to say, John, so I'm just going to hand it over to you now to wrap things up.
Yeah, Stephen, final thing I would say, apparently it teases Hawkman, Dr. Fate and Cyclone, so perhaps I have to go and study these guys and see if one of them is the big bad in this movie, or there's maybe a gallery of villains in this movie. Again, look, I ain't got much more to add. It was a short trailer teaser. It was nice concept art. It was good seeing Dwayne getting in the door of a comic book character. He's passionate about it. He's been speaking about it for years. He wants to face off against Superman. And look, man, I'm excited for that when that comes. Whenever that will be. He's shooting a Netflix movie just now.
Whenever
will be. But look, that's going to round it up, man. It's going to round up our breakdown or discussion of the array of different trailers. We never really spoke about what our favourite one was, Stephen. I think the Batman's my favourite one, really.
Yeah. Second,
probably the Suicide Squad, just for the laughs. There wasn't really a bad reveal movie-wise in this whole event, in a sense. But look, it's going to round up our chat, our discussion about it anyway. Maybe you can comment below and let us know what your favourite trailer was from the DC Fandome event. Just general movie reveal. Did you like the Black Adam one better than not Shazam, the Suicide Squad? Vice versa. What was your favourite? You can comment below and let us know what your thoughts are down below in the comments section. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed us prattling away for got to be over an hour.
Yeah.
And you can subscribe to the channel if you want to see us prattle away, not for quite as long every night, but we do discuss movie news Monday through Thursday, and we do a review on a Friday, and we do react when big things come out, just things that look good in general.
For the hell of it.
Yeah, for the hell of it. But look, guys, if you subscribe, then we'll see you. If you don't, that's a shame, and bye-bye.